It's the Lakes area's most wanted. We are cleaning up the criminals in our area and need your help. Have you seen any of these people?
Luke Paul Wadena, 22. He's 5 feet, 10 inches tall, 150 pounds with brown eyes and black hair. He's wanted for felony possession of a controlled substance. Joseph Daniel Rozo, 30. He's 6 feet tall, 210 pounds with brown eyes and brown hair. He's wanted for misdemeanor disturbing the peace. Bradley Dent James Moore, 34. He's 6 feet tall, 185 pounds with blue eyes and brown hair. He's wanted for gross misdemeanor theft and gross misdemeanor theft by worthless check. Melissa Marie Manypenny, 29. She's 5 feet 4 inches tall, 175 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair. She's wanted for misdemeanor traffic violations and has 2 warrants for gross misdemeanor, second-degree DWI refusal to test. Nicholas Wayne Cretchy, 22. He's 6 feet 1 inch tall, 172 pounds with blue eyes and blonde hair. He's wanted for a misdemeanor 4th degree DWI.
The Lakes area's most wanted. We're cleaning up the streets. Remember, if you see any of these people, do not approach them. Call your local law enforcement office. And now, a word from our area law enforcement.
Today I thought I'd talk to the viewers a little bit about our tobacco regulations in Detroit Lakes and our requirements for policing that. In the state of Minnesota, if you as a jurisdiction license tobacco dealers, you also have a responsibility to check on them on an annual basis at the very minimum. The checks have to be unannounced. You have to use a minor who tries to purchase tobacco. And so we've devised a system here in Detroit Lakes where once a year the police department goes around to all of the different tobacco vendors. We inspect to see that they have a license and it's conspicuously posted as required by our city ordinance. And we ensure that their sales require clerk intervention on single packs. We also then report the results of these compliant checks as required by statute to the state of Minnesota on an annual basis. Currently, the city of Detroit Lakes has 17 licensed tobacco vendors. That's the lowest I've seen it in the 15 years that I've been here, and the approximate 10 years we've been required to do these compliance checks. We were as high as 24 at one time, but I think that a lot of the locations gave up on it because they weren't making a lot of money. They were just doing it for the convenience of their customers. So what we do is typically around the start of the school year, I have one of my officers go around. He goes to each location and he completes a 12-point check to ensure that they have a license, that it's conspicuously posted, that they don't have any vending machines, and that if they do, the establishment not be open to anyone under 18. We will give them some suggestions on how they can comply. Most of the vendors now have software in their tills that requires that the clerk enter a date of birth before the sale can occur, and if the date of birth is too young, the sale won't occur. So most of these establishments have taken it upon themselves to police themselves and really get in line with this over the last 6 to 10 years. We do then, subsequent to that administrative check, employ a minor between the age of 15 and 18, and with their parents' permission, we send them to each of the locations and they attempt to purchase tobacco. They use their real ID to make sure that the clerks are asking for ID and entering the proper date of birth in their software, or doing the math or looking at a calendar to assist them. In a typical year, we might have no violations or 1 or 2 violations. especially since this has been done now for about 10 years. Most of the retailers are good and ethical, and they have several things in place to prevent these sales. This year we did have 2 violations. In the event of a violation, what happens then is the officer goes into the store and identifies the clerk. That clerk and the business are both summoned to appear before the Public Safety Committee, or else pay an administrative fine to avoid that hearing. Subsequent violations, the fine increases up to and including revocation of the license to sell tobacco. So this is a mandate from the state of Minnesota. We're happy to do it. The responsibility falls upon the police department, and the Public Safety Committee then acts as the hearing board.
Thank you for watching the Lakes Area's Most Wanted.